In honour of my husband, I'll do this analysis today for you for XRP and for Bitcoin. I advised in my last video that my husband, Cesar, passed away very unexpectedly on the 12th of June. We were here alone, just the two of us in Frankfurt, Germany. So now here I am alone, waiting for the Germans to release his ashes to me. I've lost a husband, but I want to ask you, and this is why I'm mentioning it again today, Jack Frost has lost a father. So our hearts are broken. We're still continuing with work because both of us really like technical analysis, and work keeps me busy, and I'm in a happy place when I'm looking at charts, and my brain is functioning well enough, surprisingly, to do it. So thank you very, very much for all your messages of condolence. I'll leave a link to his online tribute that his sister Sarah created. It's got a whole bunch of beautiful pictures of Cesar and me on our travels and having a beautiful life. He lived his best life right up to the end. Last analysis of XRP, I stepped back and I looked at the entire price history, so I'm not going to cover that again. If you want to look at that, click through to the last video, or it's just the last one I did on the channel for XRP. It's pretty obviously right there, and you can figure that out. So within cycle wave 3, I have a primary degree third wave beginning down here for XRP. This is an extremely bullish wave count. Primary 3 within cycle 3, two huge third waves to continue on upward. If my targets are wrong, they may not be high enough. 14.72, someone asked about that in comments. It's not a Fibonacci ratio, it's a prior ratio between a third and first wave for XRP. So if we see something similar again or the same again, then this could be potentially where primary 3 ends at $27.44. This is all in US dollars, so I'm not putting a dollar sign here. I don't know why people ask me to do that. It's right here, top left corner. This is the market I'm analysing. Primary 3 and cycle 3 may only subdivide as impulses, so primary 3 will be labelled an impulse with intermediate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it has to meet all of the core Elliott Wave rules. Intermediate 1, complete as a leading expanding diagonal. Intermediate 2, complete as a triple zigzag. Intermediate 3 may only subdivide as an impulse, and when it arrives, intermediate 4 may not move into intermediate wave 1 price territory. I don't expect price to get anywhere near the high of intermediate wave 1, which is under $1. I think we've probably found a floor around about $2, around about probably, I don't expect we're going to see lows below 1.612. The target for primary 3 is probably not high enough considering the target for minor wave 3. This uses a fairly reasonable Fibonacci ratio for a cryptocurrency. If this is wrong, it's not going to be high enough. Cryptocurrencies tend to have extremely strong extended third waves, and then the fifth wave is usually even stronger still. So I'm using a 6.854 Fibonacci ratio to calculate a potential target for minor 3 at $22.29. When within minor 3 I have minute waves 1, 2, 3 and 4 complete, then I can use minute degree to also calculate a target for minor 3. At that stage I'll do that, and at that stage the target's possibly going to change or it's going to widen to a small zone. Within intermediate 3 I expect minor 2 is complete here, lasting 12 weeks, one short of a Fibonacci 13. If it continues lower, it may not move beyond the start of 1, below 0.6444. When minor 3 moves above the end of minor 1, meeting a core Elliott Wave rule, then I'll pull the invalidation point and risk down here to the low of this doji at 1.6120. A little bit premature to do that yet. Minor 2 did really clearly breach a channel that contained minor 1, and from this low to this high, it's a beautiful looking 5-wave impulse. Nice little triangle in there for the fourth wave. These waves for XRP sometimes, not always, exhibit durations of weeks, days or months that are in the Fibonacci number sequence. So here we've got intermediate 1 lasting a Fibonacci 34 weeks, intermediate 2 51 weeks, 4 short of a Fibonacci 55, minor 1 23 weeks, 2 longer than a Fibonacci 21, and minor 2 12 weeks, 1 short of a Fibonacci 13. We might see primary 3 end August 5th 2025, give or take maybe 3 weeks either side, so a 6-week window would see it last close enough to a Fibonacci 144 weeks to say it's exhibited a Fibonacci duration. Now it doesn't It may not exhibit a Fibonacci duration, so this is how I'm using these estimates. So if primary 3 looks like it is continuing higher as an impulse and all Elliott Wave rules are met, when we get to around about August 5th this year, if it looks like the structure could be nearing completion, then I'll be looking for a complete Elliott Wave structure in that 6-week envelope. I'll be on a higher alert for trying to see a complete structure and looking for any bearishness to indicate the end of primary 3 and the start of primary 4. So it's a guideline and a potential window of opportunity for when a wave may end. It's not to be taken as a certainty. None of this is certain. This is an exercise in probability. I don't know why people don't understand that. I thought it was kind of obvious, but hey ho. Daily time frame, we're looking at the structure here of minor 2, fits quite nicely as a double zigzag. First zigzag in the double, labelled minute W. The double joined by a 3 in the opposite direction, labelled X, subdivides nicely as a zigzag. A, B, C. B's an expanded flat, A. B moves a little beyond the start of A, and C's a nice 5-wave structure. So this part of the wave count really nicely explains from this high to this low why that looks like a 5. And yet you've got a new high beyond its start. That's a C wave with an expanded flat. And then from here to here we have the second zigzag in the double to complete a double zigzag for minor wave 2. Multiple zigzags are reasonably common structures. Doubles are. Triples are much less common. So what that means is the probability of minor 2 continuing even lower as a triple zigzag, it's possible, but it has a pretty low probability. From this low to this high, this fits okay as a 5-wave impulse, not ideal. From this high to this low, we can see potentially a complete 3-wave zigzag with a leading contracting diagonal for A, little zigzag for B, and C is shorter than A, but it does move beyond the end of A. A and C in zigzags do have a tendency to be more even in length. Here, it's just really obviously not even in length. If it's complete down here, that's okay. It's a tendency that they're even in length. They're not always. Sometimes A is extended and C isn't, and vice versa. It's possible we could have minute 2 incomplete with minuet A. Minuet B could be complete here as some kind of double combination, and then C could move lower. So while price remains within this channel, I will allow for the possibility that 2 is not over, it could continue lower, and it can't move beyond the start of 1 below 1.6120. I want to see a full green daily candlestick fully above and not touching this trend line before I'm confident that 2 is over and 3 is underway. Technicals just on the daily for the last few weeks, prices got strong resistance about 2.3 and support about 2.05, just moving high sideways. Further decent resistance above at 2.65. It looks like we may continue to see a strong floor on the current consolidation about 2.05. This area has been repeatedly tested and it's long held. If price closes below 2.05 on a downward session, preferably with some push from volume, not a pathetic little doji like this, has to be a decent movement down. If that happens, then look for next support price to fall quite quickly, possibly down to 1.9. But on balance of probability, I think we're going to see 2.05 hold. Let's see if price can break above 2.3. We may see a little bit of energy expended, and then we may see upward movement to 2.65. This chart offers a little bit of support to the Elliott Wave count. There was a death cross back here in May, 17th of May, as the purple 50-day moving average crossed below the long-term green 200-day moving average. It sounds scary, but it's such a lagging indicator of all the things in this technical chart I'm going to go through with you. It's got the lowest technical significance. 50 days, 200 days, averages of past data, lagging indicators, later confirmation tools of potentially a trend change, but not to be taken as an indication that we're moving into a bear market here. I hope that makes sense. I don't think I described that very well, but oh well. I mean, my brain's a bit glitchy, to be fair, after what's happened in the last week or so, but I need to keep myself occupied. Volume is pushing price lower, but overall volume is declining. It's happening not just for XRP, this is happening for Bitcoin as well. It's sitting on a knife edge. I think we're going to get a really strong move soon, just not yet. It could just consolidate for a little bit further. I think when we get a strong move, it's on balance of probability, going to be a strong upward move. On balance, volume has no new range, no new signal. The last signal it gave was bearish but very weak. ADX is declining. It's now below 15, so at a low level, getting ready to indicate the next trend. No clear trend at the daily time frame for XRP today. ATR really low along with volume. The market is just waiting. Something big will come. I think it's getting closer and closer. I think on balance it's likely to be upward. It could be downward, I could be wrong. I've been wrong before and I'll be wrong again. But either way, my reasonable investment in XRP, I'm hanging on. I bought it for the long term. I bought it several years ago. I'm still holding it. Weekly technicals for Bitcoin very quickly. Price is moving sideways. Strong support now holding about 100,000. Resistance, pullback to support about 73,800, a bit above. A really strong bullish hammer candlestick pattern here and here, hammering at a low. Price moving higher, closing to new all-time highs at the daily time frame, and now just moving sideways. Bearish reversal pattern in dark cloud cover doesn't tell us one of two things. Candlestick reversal patterns don't tell you what's the next direction for price, and they don't tell you how long the next trend for price is going to last. A lot of people think they're going to tell you it's going to go from bull to bear or vice versa, but that's not the case because there are three directions for price: up, down and sideways. So a bearish reversal pattern doesn't tell you the market's going to go from bull to bear. It tells you the market's going to change. It's going to go from bull to either bear or sideways. And then the second thing it doesn't tell you is how long the next trend is going to last. So if we're going from bull to bear or sideways, it could be telling you you're having a full 180-degree shift from bull to a full-on bear market to last a while, or it could just be telling you you're having an interim a little pause, a little consolidation from bull to sideways for a relatively short time. It just tells you you have a change, that's it. Look for support to still very likely hold about 100,000. If price breaks below that with a good close below that at the daily, look for support at 92,000. Volume for Bitcoin also is really falling off. It was falling off up to the last all-time high. It's falling off again as price is moving sideways for the last few weeks. Volatility and volume and interest have just left the market, which is really weird as it's really, really close to its all-time highs. On balance, volume has a little range here. Let's watch for a very short-term signal. It'll give a weak short-term signal. ADX is telling us at the weekly time frame there's an upward trend. It's a long way to go before it's extreme. RSI reached overbought and it's exhibited double bearish divergence. Now price is just going sideways. Now that bearishness could be relieved by a little bit of sideways movement, or it could be telling us Bitcoin's going to move into another bear market. If it does, I'd expect it to be over within a year, and then for the larger secular bull market to resume. And I'm still not going to be selling my investment in this until I can see some serious bearishness, and I'm not seeing it yet, and I don't see a complete Elliott Wave count for Bitcoin either. Likewise for money flow is now neutral. There's a long way to go before it reaches overbought or oversold, and ATR, as price is moving sideways, is now declining. Volatility has left the market. At the daily time frame, we can see this sideways movement a bit more clearly. It's a bit too big to be a pennant pattern. It's just taken too long. It's just a sideways consolidation. I can't see a decent head and shoulders here. I think there might be some people out saying here's a head, left hand shoulder, right hand shoulder, but this is a sideways consolidation, not a pullback for a decent armpit. You need a decent pullback, like a little V bottom like you've got here. So I can't see a classic pattern in this chart. Maybe possibly a little pennant pattern developing here. I'll keep an eye on that in the next few days. If it is, then it's a continuation pattern for another little move down to test support at 100,000. I'm expecting support about 100,000 for Bitcoin to quite likely hold. It's been tested repeatedly. There's a previous ceiling off to the left of the chart for resistance, and now it's testing support, and that's holding nicely. So expect it to continue to hold until it gives way. If it gives way, look for a sharp fall down to 92,000, the next support zone. But I expect we're probably not going to see below 100,000 for Bitcoin for a very long time now. Volume is just dropping off as price moves sideways. It's a pause before a really big move. I think something big's possibly brewing for these markets. ADX is declining at the daily time frame. There's no clear trend. On balance, volume has a nice little range here at the daily. Watch this over the next few weeks. Before my next update, draw your trend lines really carefully across these two pivots, and I'll count this as another test. Draw your support line across these two pivots. This resistance line line is practically horizontal. It's got now, I'll call it 3 tests, so it's got a bit of technical significance. The support line's got a shallow slope and only 2 tests, slightly less, a bit less technical significance. If we see a break above resistance, then I'll be expecting new all-time highs to follow quite promptly. If we see a break below support, that could be telling us price is going to fall to hit 92,000 and test that support. Depending on where price is, though, if on-balance volume breaks below support, it could just be telling us another test of 100,000. So watch these really carefully, because sometimes when you get a little range like this on on-balance volume will give you a signal before price moves. And so this can be a really fantastic advance warning. It's one of the nicest technical techniques I use. So have a practice at that. It's super useful. ATR showing just the tiniest little bit of increase, but overall really look, it's just flat. Volatility's just left this market while it consolidates, waiting for the next big move. That's it from me and from Jack, and in memory of my beautiful husband Cesar, that's it for us. I'll keep trying to give you at least one video a week to keep me occupied and to keep giving you the content that I know you will want, and so thank you for your support.